we should also add in that, you know, you are, and there's a handful of others that are particularly unique within this martial art even, right? So, I mean, naturally, you wouldn't say that about yourself. I wouldn't say that about myself, but we have taken it upon ourselves to stick around this long, go out of our way and out of our own comfort zone to learn specific things about ourselves and how we relate to this martial art. Not everybody, I would say the majority of people don't really have this interest. It doesn't cross their minds on, you know, what is really, really real? You know, what is this reality of what's going on? Because as we've raised the question multiple times, and the obvious points of being is that most people nowadays will never have to experience getting themselves out of a sticky situation where they needed self-defense to do it. It's just not going to happen. So their minds don't go there, right? So the ones that are asking these questions, which are all great questions, their minds do go there. So they're specifically looking for that answer. But some people may listen to what we're saying and be like, dude, I just like kickboxing on Tuesday nights. Like, I just like hitting.
I just like it. Right?
I don't care about this other stuff because, you know, I'm a doctor and nobody's going to jump off the table and try to attack me for, you know, fixing their heart, you know, but they are good questions.
That was one of my answers pretty often. Several of my teachers in both styles, right? I said, well, why do you keep doing that? Right? Why are you doing that? You know, aren't you getting enough here and there? And the answer is I love them both.
Sure.
Right. And I get something from jiu-jitsu. I get something from To-Shin. I get something from spear training. Am I going to get in a spear battle? Unlikely, right? I get something from training with a sword. I could, if we had more time, I could tell you what I believe that I get from each of these expressions. Mm-hmm. But before we run out of time, there was one other guy that sent me.
Oh my gosh, it's 10 minutes to 9.
Dude is flying, right? We may have to do part 3. But one other guy sent me a question today, and it was another really thoughtful question. And rather than answer it online, I asked his permission if we could read it and talk about it on the show. So if you mind, I'll pose it to you.
Okay.
So this individual was. He lives several hours away from a dojo, and he said, do you recommend one that I study To-Shin-Do online? I have no quest centers near me, but I am in Kentucky, so I could shoot to Dayton in 3 or 4 hours for testing when needed. So every 3 or 4 months. I just want to know, is this something that you recommend, and have you seen success from this method?
Okay. So, this is a really good question. Did he give is it okay if we say his name? Can we give him a shout out? Like, who is it from?
He did. And,
okay, let's avoid it then. I was just going to say, hey, what's up? What's up, fella? Okay. So, all right. Good question. Good question, fella.
His name is Ninja Jamie on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Ninja Jamie. Here is an answer for you. And I'll reference it by someone who has recently become a member of ninjaselfdefense.com. Who lives, and we were talking about him earlier, Hardy, who lives about 2.5 hours away from the Orlando area, which was where I am, and recently came out and just attended one of my regular classes. I'm still able to hold small group classes, which we do. I think there is valuable training online. I think that they've done a really good job on laying out a framework of how someone who has never done this art before, when I say they, I mean Anshu, the Shihan Kai, yourself included, Hardy, because you've got some great material on there as well. They've done that. They start taking these lessons, and then they have an opportunity, like Ninja Jamie does, to maybe travel a couple of hours and get with somebody that is a live person that could have hands-on experience. I think if you have the opportunity to do both, then you definitely should. And this is the reason I think why. When you are with somebody and you can study this art and see the nuances of what's going on within the particular movements, then what you can do is go back and look at everything else that you've been watching on nsd.com, and you'll have it with fresh eyes, with more skilled eyes, and you'll start seeing the intricacies of the video. You'll start being able to extrapolate parts from that where you can say, oh, that's what they're talking about because I felt it. Or this, oh, I see how they're turning their body. I see how their knees are bending because I wasn't doing that when I was by myself and somebody pointed it out, So I think that it is worthwhile to at least explore doing as much training as you can online if you don't have a dojo that you can go to, and then periodically visit a dojo, get hands on. And I just think it'll for I don't want to call it a limitation, but not being able to get to a school regularly, I think it's if those two worlds can collide, then 110% you should do it.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
I think if you believe that any of the real high level teachers now have any real skill, that's a testament to the situation that he's in. Everybody had to travel to train forever. And now there's so much more material. There's so much more access. So we're using this as a way that we're trying to promote our dojo and what we're doing right now. But I believe that digital training and this sort of access to the information makes this literally the perfect time and sort of the perfect way to start a martial art, right? You can get past the awkwardness of any, like, being sort of unsure of what you're doing. You can learn the culture of the art, the culture of the dojos you're considering to go in, all by participating in their Facebook discussions, watching their content online, participating in all the events. There's all these fantastic webinars and things that are happening right now because of the situation we're all in. So yeah, Ninja Jamie, I would say, man, jump on it if you really want it, right? Well, if you sign up for something and you sort of halfway do it, I don't want you to waste any money, man. But if you're committed to learning something, I believe personally that this is the best martial art. If you're going to go all in with one martial art, this is it. To-Shin is the way to do it. And Ninja Self-Defense makes it too easy not to do it, right? It's great content, great instructors.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just because I'm on it, right? Of course, you should watch my videos, but right. But it's there, right? It's the best time, it's the best time to start martial arts, and it's the easiest way you can do it at your house, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so that's great. I'm looking at Maurice Crump, who's our friend from Atlanta. Hello, Maurice.
Hello, Maurice.
So he is very much so an accomplished martial artist, not only in his ability, skill level wise, but he is an entertainer within the martial arts industry as well, and has been in multiple films and has got to just have some amazing experiences around the world training with different martial arts teachers. So he's got, if you're looking at the comments through the feed, Maurice also has some very good perspectives on, his take on sparring. I also wanted to say at this point, but thank you first to Maurice, but for putting that comment in. But I also wanted to say that, our randori work, you really can take to whatever level you want to take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because see, my experience in sparring when I did a hardstyle karate it was like you're basically preparing for competition. You're sparring. You're putting on the gloves. You're putting on the foot gloves. You're putting on the head thing. And you're putting on a mouthpiece. And you're going to see what do you know against the guy that's doing the same thing you are, right? He's doing the same thing you are. But when we do our randori, what I appreciate about it is you don't know what this guy's going to do. The only, to your point earlier, is you made limitations on, we're not going to try to break each other's wrists. We're not going to try to rupture a spleen. So those things have to be taken into account. So, and here's the thing as well. You can argue it either way all day long as much as you want to. So all you're really doing is getting two perspectives from two guys. You either enjoy what it is that we're talking about, or you have no connection to it whatsoever, and that's okay too. Right.
So Christopher Warren, one of these regular contributors to Ninja Self-Defense discussions and things, asked, and I think you just answered it, what was the importance of the uke in terms of realism? And I believe when you and I do randori, and I was actually combing through my phone looking at some of my video clips the other day, and I found some cool stuff of your last trip up here, and we were it was on the Ninja Everyday YouTube channel. It's called the Flow Show. All right, if you want to see Scott Akitoshi brag real smooth on the Ninja Everyday YouTube channel, there's a video called the Flow Show, and it's Akitoshi, Guntoshi Evans from our dojo here, Datoshi, and myself. And we were just doing randori, some sword, and there was a lot of unarmed stuff. And we were going pretty fast and fairly hard, right? But we were being good uke, so I know when to give it up and when I need to roll out of that wrist lock. You know when to bail and tuck and roll out of that front throw so nobody gets hurt. And so we were able to go hard. We were all breathing heavy. We were all super sweaty. It was hard training, and everybody was safe and fine and wonderful after the fact. So that, I believe that, again, is one part of the training, but a really important part. But if you did that, you did a little grappling, a little pressure test here, you did some visualization work where you're seeing yourself in like a real sort of ugly self-defense scenario that you can't simulate in a dojo, and you sort of do all of this together, you're covering your bases as best you can. And all of that stuff, Ninja Jamie, is on Ninja Self-Defense.
Cool. Yeah, Christopher Warren is actually the gentleman that I was just referring to. That
came down to visit you?
Yeah, that came
down. Oh, that's awesome, mate. Christopher,
So,
excellent job. You picked a good dojo to visit, a good instructor to visit. I look forward to meeting and training with you one day. I appreciate the discussions at the points that you put up on Facebook.
Yeah, and he actually got, he has an experience, and he did a really good job of, I was very impressed with the descriptions that he gave of what it is that we worked on that particular evening that he went home with, and how it differentiated from what he was always used to as someone with a very extensive background in other martial arts, and what made his experience working with To-Shin so unique. I wouldn't say, Christopher, that you suck. I wouldn't say that at all. Just we always start somewhere. But this is one thing that Master Russo that just stood out. And I know we're kind of winding down on time here. But this is one thing that I think folks like Christopher and others that come from different styles come into To-Shin with. And Mark Russo did a wonderful explanation of it. When I first started training as a teenager, he said, he also has a very extensive background. I'm going to stand up when I do this, right? So it was funny, but it's a truism. Okay. So he studied a hard style martial art. So, when he would punch, it was all, very snappy, and, you would turn, and your kicks were, it was all very tight. Right. And and Master Russo, when he did a kick, you could be in 3 rooms down and you're like, why is that wall shaking? Just from him kicking in the air with his hard style. Like it's because he knew how to focus that intention to put his whole body would go into it. But then he made this reference point. He was like, and this is all good. This is for somebody who's capable of doing this and explores this way, it's good. But then we implement the facets of how you live your life. Okay. And this was just an example. There was no right or wrong. He was like, you study this and it becomes part of who you are. He goes, but do we eat like this? And go back to it. And when he did that, it was a funny thing. He was being a little silly. He's making fun of himself and the differentiations of his hard styles. But you thought about it, you're like, I don't live my life that way. I don't move this way in regular life. So this is an encompassing thing of what makes To-Shin so unique is this really is, as someone stated earlier in the comments, they're discovering that this is a way that I live my life is through these principles. And the principles just don't show up on paper or in your head. They become part of who it is that you are. So I just wanted to share that, because a lot of people, they say when they're coming from a hard style or some other type of martial art, they're like, I didn't realize like how tense I've been, or how much muscle I was using, or just certain outlook on this particular way of viewing things. I haven't heard that coming from the opposite way. Just my experience. I haven't heard the other side of it, right? So interesting. Maybe somebody down the road will have that type of experience that they could share. But in my 34 years, I've never heard somebody come into it and say, all these guys are leading these really great, easygoing lives, but I don't get it because this is all I do. That's how I live my life.
Life
right?
is so much better when I'm tense.
Yeah. Life is so much better when I'm tense. Yeah. Anyway, not making fun of another martial art at all. Total respect. Just looking at funny little idiosyncrasies within our martial art.
Absolutely.
So yeah, wow. I think we only answered 3 questions.
Yeah, but we did a good job.
Yeah, we did. We did a
good job.
very in-depth discovery, and it was fun. Is for me, I enjoy these as well because it makes me think. Makes me think from my own perspective. Like, what do I really think about this? What do I really believe in? What is it? Something? Am I just trying to explain it away, or am I? No, this is really how I feel about it. So.
I appreciated the that level of honesty with the answers tonight. It felt like I expressed some stuff that I wanted to really express, and I loved hearing your perspective on this as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you as well.
Hey, so everybody out there who's watching, Anshu on his page on Facebook is sort of doing a poll. He's trying to see what is the group consensus on whether or not the festival should happen. I believe he's got it on the books for September 11th through the 13th this year. So, I think it'd be really helpful as a person who's hosting an event to know how many folks to expect. So if you have an opinion one way or the other, he's asking for those opinions right now. So you can look at Stephen K. Hayes on Facebook. I believe it's on both his personal page and on NSD.
I did see both on both of those pages. So good looking out for you, Hardy, for mentioning that. And you just hosted Anshu this past weekend with the second look at the deep dive into the 9 Kuji, and you're hosting him this Saturday for the final for 7, 8, and 9, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, 7, 8, and 9 we'll cover this Saturday starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. I know that there's a lot of folks that have wanted to get into this after the fact, but stay tuned once we get once we've gone through all of these virtually, then we'll have them available for download on theninjaeveryday.com.
Great. And I'm speaking of the festival request ask from Anshu. Some folks have gone on and given some ideas of how things could be if we were to do it virtually. I've got my wheels spinning as well, so I'm going to have a talk with Anshu this week and just throw some ideas out there from a technical perspective on how, not to let too much of a cat out of the bag, especially when Anshu does not know about this yet, but maybe there's a way that we can do these, and if everyone is technically sound, that there could also be presenters from around the country. Just like we would do our breakout sessions, right? So you could teach a session from your dojo. I could teach a session from, I won't say where, but somewhere.
Right there.
Right here. If you get realistically attacked by curtains,
they come through the windows.
This is how you do it, and we'll go in real time. But anyway, there's some pretty interesting things coming up, and I got some tricks up my sleeve that I'll be announcing here soon as well. With some
I'm wearing short sleeves.
Yeah, I'm wearing short sleeves as well.
All right. Hey, well, thank you for another great episode, man. How about instead of calling this episode 10, let's just say it's like 9.2 or
I like it.
Episode 9, subsection B.
Yes, let's do that because I have a feeling we're going to be. I have a feeling we might do another section here soon. And I just want to say one more thing. Mr. Davis, who was on the scrolling through earlier, he had asked a question, and I will reserve the right to not only answer that question, but ask him that question as well, because he is going to be an up-and-coming guest on a future episode of the show. So be on the lookout for Mark Davis from Boston to be one of our guests. And we've got a couple other, we'll just say, unique, interesting surprises coming up as far as our guest inventory is concerned. Some may surprise you, some may delight you, but they'll all make you think.
Yep.
110% for sure. So
awesome.
All right, Hardy, get home to your family. Drive safe, brother. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for watching.
Take care, guys.
Stay tuned next week for the show.
Sayonara.
Sayonara, suckers.